Hi everyone, and welcome to Squirrel Pie Productions. My name is Tommi. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as DynamiteTrujillo. Welcome to episode 94. Thank you so much for being here. If you're a new viewer, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, a big welcome back. Today's a really beautiful and sunny and spring-like day in March here on the Northern California coast where I'm coming to you from. There are show notes available for this episode in the description box below. I will link to everything I talk about in today's episode. So check that out if you're interested in anything I talk about. We have some admin to discuss. We have a make-along happening right now. It is the FestiMAL and it's hashtag FestiMAL 2020 on Instagram. There's also a Ravelry chatter thread and FO thread, and this is where you can make anything with something you acquired at a fiber event or that you're making for going to a fiber event or inspired by a fiber event. So you guys are making some really amazing things. Thank you so much to everybody who is participating. Go check out that hashtag and the threads on Ravelry. There's some amazing stuff. It's going through the end of March, so I think that means in my next episode I'll be drawing for prizes. I could be wrong, but it's ending soon-ish. So you still have time to make some stuff. If you don't finish, that's fine. I am going to be drawing from the finished objects thread on Ravelry, but I'll also be drawing from the hashtag on Instagram where you don't have to finish. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, check that out if you're interested. I know not everybody can go to fiber events, so this is kind of a way to see what other people are doing or to get inspired by other people. Also, I know that some fiber events are being canceled right now, which is such a bummer to the vendors and the people who were planning on going and whose plans had to be changed. So if that is you on either end of it, I'm sorry. But you can still participate. If you can wiggle it in there, go ahead, do it. Okay, so that's the make-along, the FestiMAL. And the next order of a business is that this YouTube channel hit 5,000 subscribers before my last episode. So in celebration, I hosted a giveaway. And to enter that giveaway, I asked you to comment on the last episode in the YouTube comments. And what I've done is I've gone through everybody who commented and chosen a winner at random using an internet-based YouTube random comment picker website. I just Googled YouTube random comment picker and it was super easy to use. It was great. I've never done that before. So thank you so much to everybody who entered. So many people entered and, you know, said really lovely, nice things, and it was just so great to hear from all of you. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for entering, for commenting, for subscribing, for watching, for being here with me on this weird fiber YouTube journey. I'm humbled and I appreciate every single one of you. Honest to freaking goodness. Okay, on to the winner. I have drawn a winner and that winner is... I'm too excited I'm dropping things. It was my phone. It's fine. Everything's fine. Alexandrina Torres. Congratulations, you have won the prize, which I haven't shown you yet. So let's show you. Congratulations, Alexandra. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Congratulations, Alexandrina. I love your name, it's beautiful. Contact me either on Instagram, where I am DynamiteTrujillo, or on Ravelry, where I am also DynamiteTrujillo, or by email, where I am at Moonstone Dyeworks@gmail.com. I'm together. You want to know what you won? You won this really beautiful project bag from Woodsy and Wild, which I picked up at Stitches West, which is the fiber event that I went to a couple weeks ago. You have also won this skein of Moonstone Dyeworks yarn in the Dead Flowers colorway. Moonstone Dyeworks is my hand-dyed yarn company, FYI. And you have also won these super cool stitch markers from Girl on the Rocks. And they come in this super fantastic tin with a little sweater on it. And they're a bunch of sweater making stitch markers, and they have little sayings on them, such as knit two together, make one left, make them right, one right, SSK, front, back, left sleeve, right sleeve. They're awesome. This was one of the door prizes. This is the door prize that I won at Stitches, and I am passing it along to you. So congratulations. I'm so happy you won. I can't wait to hear from you, and I can't wait to get your prize out to you in the mail. And again, thank you so much to everybody who entered, and to everybody who watches, and to everybody who is my friend. Thank you. Okay, oops. I said I wasn't gonna drawstring it last time. I said I was gonna leave you for you to do the first time. Sorry, I only just drawstringed it like halfway. Okay, so that's it for admin. Let's move on to finished objects / what I'm wearing. So if you've been around before, you know that this is something I already made. This is the Diaphanous Raglan by Jessie Mae Martinson, and this is a sweater that I finished, I don't know how long ago, but it was a little while ago, and it's a finished object this week because it's one of the projects that I pulled out from my sweater collection that I wanted to alter a little bit, and I have done so. So the thing that I wanted to do to this sweater that I wasn't happy with initially was the sleeve length and the body length. I wanted to lengthen both of those things, so I did it. And let's show you what it looks like now. So I lengthened the body about 1 inch. And so it was kind of up here before, just made it a little bit longer. It's not that dramatic, but it feels dramatic when I wear it. Like, it feels like there's a huge difference in how it wears. And then the sleeves, I did the bell sleeve option, which I really like, but I also lengthened them by about 1 inch. So they used to be kind of more up here, and especially with the bell sleeve option, I just wanted them a little longer. I felt like as short as they reminded me of, like, you know, like bell bottoms, like the pants. Like, I think bell bottoms are, I don't know, I don't wear bell bottoms, but conceptually I think they're cute, except when they're high waters. I don't really like that. And that's what my sleeves were reminding me of, were bell bottom high waters. So I lengthened the sleeves a little bit, and I lengthened the body, and I'm super happy I did. The yarn that I used for this was Moonstone Dyeworks, which is, sorry, again, my hand-dyed yarn company. And I used the Merino Single base in the Ursula colorway. And then for the lace weight, because this pattern is a fingering weight, held double with the lace weight mohair for the body, and then the sleeves are just the lace weight. At the time, I wasn't dyeing on a lace weight mohair silk, which I am now. So I picked out another random lace weight skein that I just had lying around that was undyed, and it was a non-superwash Falkland merino, and so that's what the lace weight is. So since it's non-superwash, the color is much more muted on the lace base than on the single base. But I really like it. I love how it turned out. I really like this yarn. Kind of the bummer thing though, in terms of what I did for this particular project, was that since what I was working with was a non-superwash yarn, it was really freaking hard to rip back. Because non-superwash yarn will end up kind of sticking to itself over time, and it makes a more cohesive fabric. So when you try to unravel it, it's like kind of stuck there. So it was a really huge pain in the butt to unpick the bind off and rip back and pick up stitches, pretty much. So the first thing I did was one of the sleeves, and I just like kind of unwoven my end and undid the bind off. And it was very difficult. I was yanking it because it was all stuck together, and then like I was getting drop stitches that just like ran a whole bunch, and it was kind of a nightmare. And then after I like ripped back, I like went back and picked up my stitches, which was fine because they weren't going anywhere. But because I had to fight with it so much to unravel it, they were already everywhere. So that was kind of a nightmare. But I did it. I picked up the stitches. I fixed everything that dropped. And I reknit the end of the sleeve. So that's the reknit portion. And then, so this is just the lace weight. And then for the last 3 rounds, I switched to the singles fingering weight base and bound off in that. And the second sleeve, to try to avoid the catastrophe that was the first sleeve, what I did is I went around and I picked up like a few rows down. I picked up all like 1 leg from each stitch around the whole thing so that I already had it on the needle. And then I was like, I'm just gonna cut the bind off because unpicking it was just like horrid. Or like ripping the bind off out was bad. So I was like, I'm just gonna cut it off. So I took some scissors and I just cut the bind off. And that was just as bad. That was just as much work. And then not only was it like I was fighting with it and I was yanking it and I had yarn like stuck to itself. Not only that, but I had no end. It was all just teeny little frayy ends because I cut the thing off. So I had to like find where my little tiny like actual end was. It was so hard. And then the waistband was not as hard because it was held together with a superwash fingering weight yarn. So that kind of allowed the stitches to unravel and be unpicked a little more easily, but it also didn't, like once I had the stitches all live across the whole thing, they didn't go anywhere. I was able to pick them all up after the fact really easily. So the waistband was much easier, and I thought it was going to be harder because it was 1 by 1 ribbing and this is just stockinette, but man, it was a nightmare. But once I actually got all the stitches back on the needles, it was like super quick because I was only adding like 1 inch basically to everything and then binding off. So this got done super quick. It was just a really fast little project to kind of fix something that I was slightly unhappy with my sweater, and now I'm much more happy with it, and I think I'm gonna wear this a lot more now. So, yay. Okay, moving on to my next finished object, which is another one of my fix-its. I lengthened the sleeves on my Evenflo cardigan, which is my cardigan that I knit from a pattern by Hoki Locatelli. And this is knit out of Socks That Rock, Blue Moon Fiber Arts, Socks That Rock, medium weight, in the bittersweet colorway. It's a sport weight, 100% superwash merino. And I love this sweater so much, but I did not love the sleeves. I made them too short and too wide for my liking. And I went rogue on the sleeve part of the pattern because the pattern calls for like 3/4 length sleeves. I wanted full length sleeves. What is up today, Tommy? Bleh. So I just made up like how I was going to lengthen the sleeves, and I didn't decrease enough, and so they were too wide and too short. So I went back and reknit the ends. And as you can see, you can tell where my new yarn is. The yarn for this sweater started out a much deeper color. I did not alternate skeins when I originally knit this, so you can like tell, like this is the old sleeve, and like there's color breaks for sure. So the color wasn't really that consistent. Also, this sweater has lost a lot of color over time, just bleeding with washes. And so I knew that the new yarn that I was adding in for the length of the sleeves was going to be darker than what my cuffs were. So that's kind of what it ended up looking like. This one's not as bad. I used a little less yarn. I only used like a few rows at the end of the new yarn. And the original yarn on this sleeve is a little darker than the original yarn on this sleeve, which, I mean, it's obvious, you can tell, but it's not something I care about that much, so whatever. But so since this sleeve originally was just a lot lighter, you can tell a lot more that the new yarn is a lot darker, and I used more of it on this sleeve for whatever reason. But that just doesn't bother me. I don't know. So I'm gonna try this on, even though it's gonna clash real hard with what I'm wearing underneath. It's okay. Just so that you can see what it did to my sleeves. It's also gonna be weird because I have really long bell sleeves underneath, so. Wow. So the sweater's exactly the same. I did not change anything. I love this sweater. But the sleeves are now longer and skinnier than they used to be. I think I could have even gone a little longer than I did, but I'm way more happy with it now than I was before. So I just added a little bit of length. I ripped back probably to about here-ish on both sleeves, and then reknit while adding more decreases. So I decreased a lot more, so now it's a lot closer to my wrist down here. And then I just did the 1x1 rib and a needle size smaller than what I did for the body. And yeah. This is old. I don't care. So I'm much happier with both of these sweaters now. I'm really excited that I've actually gone through and fixed two sweaters that just needed a slight tweaking, and it feels really good. And this one I'm not gonna wear any more than I used to, because I used to wear it every day, and I still am gonna wear it every day. I'm just happier with it. This sweater though, I know I'm gonna wear more now that it's a little more to my liking. So yeah, that's awesome. I have one more finished object, and it's a real bona fide finished object, not one of these cheater finished objects. I finished my Gatsby shawl. I'm super in love with it. So this is a pattern by Don Henderson. It's a triangular shawl, and it's knit out of Moonstone Dyeworks in the merino single base, which is a 100% superwash merino single ply fingering weight yarn, and it's in the Crescent Moon colorway. It's a mostly garter shawl, and it's got chevron stockinette at the edges with bobbles. Oh, there's an end. Can you see that? It's woven in. I just didn't snip it good enough. Good job picking the end that has the end weave poking out, Tommy. How about this one? Ooh, pretty. Doesn't have any ends. So I love this shawl so much. It was so fun to knit. I love a good garter stitch shawl, and I love bobbles. This was my first time knitting bobbles, and I enjoyed it so much. They do take a long time, but they're fun and they look freaking cool. And the nice thing about this shawl is that it was just 2 long rows of bobbles. So like, it wasn't all bobbles all the time. It was like, okay, I'm about to do like 15 bobbles, and then that's it. And then like 2 days later, 15 more bobbles, done. Like all in a row. So, you know, they were a little slow, but I really enjoyed them. This shawl also has an I-cord bind off, which is something else that we knitters like to be like, oh, it's so slow. But it is. It's very slow. It's a bind off where I sat down one evening and I was like, okay, I'm done knitting this thing. All I have to do is the bind off. That's where I was at. And so I sat down. I was like, I'm going to be done with this tonight. I'm going to soak it and everything's going to be awesome. And then I read the instructions and I was like, oh, it's an I-cord bind off. So I got about 1/3 of the way done that night. And then it took me another day to do the bind off. But I mean, I don't mind. I really enjoy doing I-cord bind offs. I like I-cords a lot. It was just funny because, you know. But it makes it look really nice. I gotta fix that. Oh my goodness. Sloppy Tommy. I think it makes it look really nice with the I-cord bind off. It's so pretty. And I did actually block this thing like proper with blocking mats and pins and everything, which I haven't done in a long time. When I block my knitwear, the only things that I ever use pins for and like blocking wires and stuff is stuff like this, like shawls that like have a shape that it's supposed to have that is really gonna be helped by being stretched a little bit and held in place with pins. So I broke out my whole blocking setup and it was fun. Otherwise, like sweaters and stuff like that, I soak them and I rinse them and then I just lay them out. I don't like, you know, I don't aggressively block anything other than stuff like this. So I loved knitting this pattern. It was really fun. It took just over 1 skein of yarn. So I used 2 skeins of yarn towards this shawl, but I only used like, gosh, maybe the last like 3 rows plus the bind off was from the 2nd skein. It's a really cozy shawl. It's such a great size. It's really nice and wearable, the size that it is. For a while I was into like nothing but enormous shawls, but trying this thing on, I'm realizing like how easy to wear something like this is. So, oh, I love it so much. So this is going to be a prize for the Patreon giveaway that's going to be happening at the end of March. So if you have been a Patreon supporter at all, you will be entered into a giveaway that's going to be happening pretty soon for this lovely beauty, and I will trim that end before I send it to you. And make sure everything's all secure like. So this is the Gatsby Shawl by Dawn Henderson, and it's really beautiful. I love it. I loved making it. It was so much fun. Okay. Works in progress. I have a new one. I cast on using the yarn left over from my Evenflo cardigan. So when I was originally done knitting that sweater, I had almost a whole skein of yarn left over. That's just been caked up forever since I finished it. And so I broke that cake out to finish the sleeves. And then after I was done, I decided to cast on another project using the rest of the yarn. Hopefully the rest of it, I hope. Probably not though. I'm probably still gonna have a bunch left over. Lame. So this is it. This is, again, Blue Moon Fiber Arts Socks That Rock, medium weight, in the Bittersweet colorway. So it is their sport weight base. And it's really lovely. And it's got this quality that I really love in some yarns where it's super like springy and bouncy and it's really elasticy and I love it. So I'm knitting a hat for Lucy. This is the top-down ear flap hat by Purl Soho. And that's what I have so far. So this is a free pattern, like I think most or all Purl Soho patterns are. And it's sized from like newborn up to adult sizes. And I'm doing the toddler size, or no, I'm doing the little kid size. It goes like newborn baby little kid or something like that. So I'm doing the little kid size. And it's top down, so you cast on at the top here. I did some increases, and now I'm just knitting straight for a little while. And yeah, it's pretty simple so far. I'm knitting it on a US size 3, which is what the pattern calls for. And eventually I'll do some ear flaps, and I think it might have like ties. I don't remember. I forgot. I don't know. But Lucy needs a new hat. She has grown out of the last hat that I knit her, which was the Purl Soho garter ear flap hat, which was another ear flap hat, but it was from the bottom up. So I thought I'd go with this one. I was looking for a hat calling for sport weight yarn. So this one kind of fit the bill. I really like the ear flap hats for her. And they're super cute, and they cover her ears, which is important for me. And yeah, So this has been fun, and that's it for that. Next, in this bag, which is beautiful, it's a Lost and Fond project bag, is my sweater project that I was working on a couple episodes ago. This is my Party Top by Abby Knits. And the yarn that I'm using is this luscious beauteousness. This is some hand spun that I spun myself. And the fiber was Classy Squid Fiber Co. in the After Dark collection. The colorway is After Dark 2. And it's Coriadale, Fine Wool Fleece, Firestar, Nylon, Mohair, and Sari Silk. And I had 6.6 ounces and 540 yards. So this pattern calls for a DK weight yarn. I would say that my yarn, excuse me, is probably on average like a sport or a DK, with all kinds of stuff in between in different spots, because I'm not a consistent spinner. I got kind of gauge. I didn't get gauge. That's another, kind of getting gauge is another way of saying I did not get gauge. I got, I think, gosh, 22 stitches to 4 inches, and it calls for 24, I don't know. I'm a couple stitches off. I don't know the numbers. You don't care. But anyway, here it is. Oh, what? Look at that. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it so much. So it's a top-down raglan cropped sweater with eyelet details down the sleeves, like that. That's super not clear and not helpful, Tommy. Thank you very much. Anyhow, there's eyelets on those sleeves. You can see them a little bit. And so I finished the body, and I made it, I'm kind of altering-ish it a little teeny bit-ish. So the pattern's very simple. It's very basic. It's easy to follow, but her waist decreases and her sleeve decreases are counterintuitive to me. I look at the way she wants me to decrease, and I'm like, no, not gonna do that. So I just did it on my own. I'm not gonna tell you what she calls for, but I will tell you that what I did end up doing is kind of a standard. Like for the waist, I only decreased a little bit. I think it's like 2 or 4 stitches overall for the waist decreases, and that's not much. And so I did it like kind of a standard, like 2 on each side or something, or maybe 1 on each side for 2 rows or something like that. And then for the sleeves, I'm doing more decreases than what she calls for, and at a different, in a different style. So I'm doing like a pretty standard sleeve decrease where you, on your decrease round, decrease 2 stitches kind of on either side of like the first stitch, you know what I mean? So like knit 1, SSK, knit around the sleeve to 2 stitches, and then knit 2 together, or to 3 stitches, knit 2 together, knit 1. You know what I mean? That's pretty standard. That's the way I'm doing it. That's not what she calls for. I didn't like what she called for, so I didn't do it. But yeah, I'm super happy with it so far. I have tried it on a whole bunch to make sure that it fits. I think the sleeves called for in the pattern are like half sleeves. But what I've done is after I bound off for the body, I split the rest of my cake into 2 equally sized cakes. So I'm just going to knit until I run out of yarn so that I can get them as long as possible. I'm guessing I'll get like 3/4 length sleeves based on what I have left. This is about just above the elbow length right now, and I have this much left. So, oops, there it goes. So I'm just going to keep trying it on to see how much I need to continue decreasing as I go down. I also added short row shaping to the back. And I added 3 rows of short row shaping just between the raglan increases on the back. So pretty much what I did is I knit across the back, but like maybe 3 stitches or so before getting to the raglan shaping, I did a, what do you call them? Wrap stitch and turned my work and then knit back. And then 3 stitches before the end, or before the raglan, I did a wrap and turn and knit back. And then as I did that, I continued going 1 stitch farther out 3 times or something like that. Ish. That's what I did, ish. And so it just raised the back neck up a tiny bit. I did have intentions of doing a couple more short row shaping rows before the bottom ribbing to also bring the back down a little bit, just to add more length on both the top and the bottom of the back of the sweater, but I forgot. So I didn't. But that's okay. I like the length of it, and I'm super excited about how this sweater is coming out. I love it so much. I love the color. This hand spun is just amazing. The fiber was amazing, is why it's amazing. It's mostly like a really dark brownish black, and then like all through it really nice and evenly, it's a lot of like magentas and sparkly stuff. And I'm just so excited about it. This is like my dream sweater. I cannot wait to wear it. It does have a pretty high, pretty small neckline, so it's a pretty bona fide crew neck, which I don't often make, because I don't really love high necklines. I don't know, like my clavicle area is an area that I really like to have exposed. I don't know why, but I don't like covering it up. I have no idea why. But so it's definitely a higher neckline than I would normally make, but I like it. I think it's gonna look awesome. I'm into it, super into it. And like I said, my gauge is a little off. So the size that I'm making is the 28. Now that is pretty small. I have a 32-inch bust. The pattern calls for, I think, 2 to 4 inches of negative ease. And the garment finished measurements go down. The smallest size, I think, is like a 26. So I did the second size, the 28, which on paper gives me exactly what I'm supposed to have, 4 inches of negative ease. But my gauge was is gonna make my whole garment a little bit bigger. So I'm thinking it's gonna, like, I could measure it now, but I'm not going to. But I think it's gonna be more like a finished bust measurement of like 30 or something. I think I have a little less negative ease than it calls for. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I kind of hemmed and hawed over what size to make before casting on, and I almost cast on the next size up, and I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I went with the 28, because I think I'm getting a little bit of a bigger garment, and it's fitting perfectly. So I'm just gonna keep showing you because I love it. I'm knitting this on a size US 6. Is it a 6? Yeah, it's a 6, which is what the pattern calls for. I didn't actually do a gauge swatch. I just started with the needle called for and then measured gauge after I had a little bit of fabric done, which has kind of been my MO lately, and I'm pretty into it. So I used to be heavy into swatching, like proper swatching, but yeah, no, I like this method lately, and I'm just so in love with it. I cannot wait to wear it. Can't wait. Is there anything else that you want to know about this? I can't think of anything else to tell me. If there's anything else you want to know, ask me in the comments. That's it. That's everything I've been working on. Which kind of doesn't feel like that much, but also kind of feels like a lot, because it was a lot of like little random things. Yeah, I really like my projects right now. I'm really excited about this. Okay, moving on. To Moonstone Dyeworks stuff. I am not having a shop update for another probably week or couple weeks possibly. The shop is empty right now, and that's because tomorrow, which is Saturday, March 14th, I think, I'm having my first trunk show at my local yarn shop, which is called Yarn. It's in Eureka, California. We're in Northern California, and tomorrow I will be at this yarn shop with a buttload of my yarn from 11 to 4, hanging out and knitting and touching yarn. I'm gonna bring some samples. I have knitted up, I'm gonna bring the Gatsby Shawl, and I'm gonna bring my Soldotna crop, and I'm gonna bring, I'm gonna wear this, I think I'm wearing this tomorrow. And I'm gonna bring my Gemini pullover, and I can't remember what else. I have a couple other things that I've knit out of my yarn that I am not thinking of at the moment. But anyway, if you happen to be in town or live nearby or traveling through, stop by if you can. I would love to meet you. I know we're far away and remote to probably a lot of you. But if you happen to be here, come check it out. I would love it. I'm super excited. I've never done a trunk show. I've done a very limited amount of like offering my yarn at yarn shops, and I'm super excited about this opportunity to do this trunk show. I think it's going to be so cool. I think it's going to be so fun. I'm very excited. So that's the news for that. But my shop is always open for custom orders. If you happen to want something, you can always message me and let me know, and we can work something out. Okay, favorites. Last week in my favorites, I shared a swap that I did, and I'm going to share another swap this week. I like doing swaps. So I did a swap with Julie of Sweet Sparrow, who I adore, and I think she is just like the best. And I want to hang out with her in person so badly. She lives in like the countryside now. She just moved recently. Anyway, so I got my swap package from Julie. I actually also purchased yarn from her. I purchased from her very last round of self-striping yarn that she was doing. So I did a pre-order for that, and then after that, we decided to do a swap. So she sent everything all together, and I'm going to show you what she sent me now, because it's awesome. So the yarn that I purchased from her is this beautiful self-striping yarn. This is Hurry Home to You. That's the colorway. It's a self-striping, and there's her tag. It's so pretty. I just love these colors so very much. So I got that, and then she sent me 2 more skeins of her yarn, which is beautiful, Sweet Sparrow yarns. Obviously, I just showed you. So this is one of the ones that she sent me, and this is called Wrapped Up in Books, and it's on the Magpie base, which is a Stellina base. And oh, the note that she wrote me was just so sweet and so thoughtful, and she said that this reminded her of me, and I love it so much. It's just beautiful. And then she also sent me this skein of worsted weight non-superwash yarn that she dyed. So this one is Corner of Your Heart is the colorway, and it's on the quail base. Oh, and she said this one, she sent it to me because it reminded her of my eye color. So sweet. Thank you so much, Julie. I love it. It's so beautiful. I love me some non-superwash yarn, so I'm super, super stoked about this. She also sent me some spinning fiber, which is this. And this is created by LCB. And it's so pretty. So this is the Autumn Whispers colorway, and it's Polworth and Tencel. And I love spinning Polworth. And it's super shiny and pretty, and it's browns and mustards and pinks. Totally in love. She also sent me some tea, which is delicious. And yeah, that was amazing to get. That was just such an exciting package. I was so happy to get it in the mail. Thank you so much, Julie. Thank you for swapping with me. Okay. Okay, I think that's it. Is that it? Is that all I have? I don't think I have anything else to say. No? Okay. I will leave you there. I hope you are having a fantastic March. I hope you are staying safe and as healthy as you can. And I hope you're making and I hope you are joining in the make along. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing and thumbs upping if you do that kind of stuff. If you liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe. Have fun and stay awesome. Bye.